Eric has been talking about, but also some good unique content that I know that I've put into my business because of how and what we do. So Barbara, I'll share my screen and then we'll get started, and hopefully you've got your write out of how we're going to break this thing out. And,
thank you very much. Excellent presentation.
Thank you. Okay, you guys see my screen here?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. So, all right, so we'll cover this real quick. So strategic networking. So what I wanted to do is cover who we are, why networking is important, specific steps for effective networking, and some of the overarching wraparounds for that. So when we were putting this presentation together about a week or two ago, I just restarted watching Game of Thrones. I'm only about 3 seasons into it. And
Finish, we don't see the presentation.
No?
Nope.
Okay, let me try it again.
I can see it.
Some people are seeing it, some people aren't.
Yeah, Hanish, I see it here as well.
Okay, so Barbara, let me try again. Blow my computer up. A lot of windows open. Okay, how about now? Anyone?
Hang on, Hanish. I think it's me on my end.
Okay.
You go ahead and keep going.
Yeah, so you should see this red screen. So, you know, I thought this quote was pretty fitting from Tyrion Lannister, who's, you know, kind of a bad guy turned good guy in the show, which is I try to know as many people as I can. You never know which one you'll need. And obviously he's using it, you know, partially for a good, partially for nefarious reasons. But I thought it was still applicable, especially in a city like San Diego, where everyone is either 1 or 2 degrees apart from each other because it's such a small community here. So who we are, you know, myself and Barbara met each other just a little over a year ago because we're at the same brokerage. But I've got a long career in real estate and mortgage and servicing and underwriting and consulting. Since 2014, I've been flipping properties. In 2018, I started a construction company. And so now I'm a broker. I own a construction company, and I'm an investor buyer. So that's kind of my current professions. I'm also a dad of 3 people, and I live here in Pacific Beach, California. Been in San Diego since 2007. I originally grew up in Michigan. There's a million other things about me, but I'd love to get to know everyone a little bit better for those that I don't know. Barbara, you want to chime in?
Yeah, I was finally able to find the screen. Sorry about that, Hanish. My name is Barbara Legg. I am actually a broker associate with eXp Realty. I have been licensed since about 2004 and typically serve South San Diego County, and I'm on a team with my daughter, Brianna, and she joined me about 5 years ago with my business, and business is just crazy right now. Just loving it.
So thanks, Barbara. So, you know, one of the things that I've learned over the years is that it's rarely the credentials that you've had that open as many doors as the people that you know. So making those connections is super important for that reason. You know, I like some of the quotes that I've heard along the years, which is your network is your net worth. And I took that to heart a few years ago when I went from being a single guy to a married guy. And I was like, all my friends are still single, and you know, and they're great, but I need to up my network. So I was able to kind of strategically maneuver myself in where I'm hanging out with people that are more successful than me or have bigger businesses, and learning from them and having them become mentors of mine, because it's really compelling how impactful anyone can be. And I'm humble enough to always take advice from anyone, whether I think they're better or worse than me. It doesn't matter. I'm always learning from people, and that's important. So I also want to be the person that's full of resources for people. So when Barbara calls me, or Scott Smith calls me, or Ed Nodlin calls me and says, hey, I need this or that, you know, I love to be able to provide them with a solution or a direction so they can solve their problem or their issue instead of saying, sorry, I can't help you, right? I'm always the one that's going to close the loop and say, nope, I'm going to help you solve whatever your question is. And so I can keep getting those calls from those people. Anytime you have a call, please call me again, because I'm going to make sure I go through efforts to help you. So, and I want to be that person that everyone calls because I know the right people, I know the right resources. And I also want to be that person that they call because they've got a lead with construction, with real estate, with an investment property, because then that helps my business as well. And hopefully it's a win-win for them. So with that, I want to hand this over to Barbara to kind of talk about these few sections here.
Thanks, Hanish. Yeah, you know, it's making connections, but also collaborating, just like what you just said, you know, as far as being that go-to person, and how to get some help when you actually need help with whatever you're working on. So making connections, you kind of have to get your target. So what kind of connections is it that you want to make? You have to, you can't just kind of be throwing arrows all over the place. You want to, kind of hone in onto what your target is, what's your audience, who are you looking for? And then the second step is kind of stroke the ego a little bit, right? So, we have a little graphic in there that says, I'll stroke your ego until you have no choice but to tolerate me. But honestly, people, like to talk about themselves, and they like people who listen to what it is that they're saying. So, stroke the ego a little bit and just kind of, have that conversation with people. And then the third step on this one is ask. We've got another little quote in there. 91% of customers say they'd give referrals. Only 11% of salespeople ask for referrals. So, don't forget to ask. Ask for what it is that you need. People cannot read your mind. Contrary to popular belief, people have no idea what you're thinking. And if you don't ask, you're never going to get. So, kind of keep that in mind. And then, of course, the fourth one is the goals. So a dream becomes a goal when action is taken towards its achievement. When you're writing your goals down, how are you going to get there? Sometimes you have to kind of figure out those steps on how to get to those goals and to achieve all those dreams. So,
Awesome.
Hanish, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Yeah, Barbara, I want to chime in a little bit more on number 3, which is ask, because I think this is the key area here. One of the things that I like to talk to people about is to ask them about their professional story, right? Now, you're going to get a lot of personal information too, but I always like to hear to how they got to now. What did they do when they got out of college, or did they go to college, or what, where, and what were all their careers along the way? Because it always makes for interesting conversation to hear their backstory, right? As Gilman said, like the number one thing people like to talk about is themselves. So it does help kind of along with number 2, which is to learn about their professional history. So then I also ask about their professional goals, right? What do you see for your business? What do you see for your future? Because that helps also another important thing that Eric was talking about, which is have clear goals. And so if people have clear goals, they're willing to share them. If they don't, it gets them thinking, crap, I need to get my goals together. Right. And then I'll also ask them, hey, what kind of resources or context could you use to grow your business or attain your goals? Right. So I'm always trying to take paper. I pull out my notepad and I'm taking paper notes to find out who I can connect them with, because I'm now racking my brain of what resources can I connect them with right now. Right now, we've just met. We've been talking for 15 minutes. Who can I connect them with? What tools can I connect them with? What resources can I give them right now? Along with the BNI strategy of giver's gain. Right. So I'm giving people. It might not be a layup lead right now, but maybe it's a reference for how they can connect with one, or something that they can use to tweak their business to improve it a little bit. And then along the way, I want to share my story as well. Oh, you did this, I did that too, or I did something similar, right? And at the and this all works for kind of phone meetings or online meetings. But when we have good old-fashioned in-person handshake networking meetings again, one of the things I love to ask people is like, hey, at this networking meeting right now, who would be the ideal person for you to meet, right? And so if I say that enough times at a networking event, I'm usually able to connect some people together, which is super useful on the spot, and people see the value in that immediately. Like, I just met that guy and he already introduced me to the person that I wanted to meet at this thing, right? So you can see how that could be effective and generate some positive will towards you. How's that sound, Barbara?
That's perfect.
Right. So
Spot
like
on.
who would you like to meet, and then hook them up with the resources, tools, and introductions, right?
That's right.
So with a growth strategy, like we said, putting the pieces together, this is a short presentation. You never know the person that people that you meet could introduce you to. So if you meet someone, I don't know all the people that Barbara knows. So her network is her net worth, and she might be able to introduce me to someone that could be really impactful in my business. You never know. Maybe it's not that person. Maybe it's a third-degree person. Either way, you just don't know who they know. So don't brush someone off. I remember a realtor started on my team a while ago. I was like, I'm only such and such year old, but I don't think I have any clients. I was like, well, do the people that you know have family? Do they have friends? Do they have business associates? Because if you dig deep enough, someone knows someone that's doing something that you might be interested in. So it's worth digging. Don't blow people off, because you never know how impactful they can be. And two, it's important to have not to have a scarcity or a competition mindset. It's better to have like a blue ocean and an abundance mindset. there's plenty of business out there for people that work. One of my things that I like to say is that you either can work hard or complain there's no work. And so you can waste your energy one of two ways, right? You can waste it by saying, oh, woe is me, there's nothing to do and there's no leads and there's no clients. Or you could do whatever you can and follow a strategy so you can drum some of those things up. And then keep good relations and reputation. Because San Diego's so small, it's a bad reputation travels probably 10 times as fast as a good reputation. So make sure that you keep everyone on your good side. And if you have an occasional bad day, don't be too prideful to go back and apologize for blowing up on someone because you had a bad day at the office and then something happened in the evening, whatever. You get that sometimes everyone has a bad day, but overall you want to try to have a positive relationships with people. So start connecting, so like Barbara and I are here, Gilman's here. He's asked you to connect with him. We're asking you to connect with us, connect with each other on the call, or target the people that you think could be most useful to you or that you'd like to meet and ask them for a meeting. Even if it's just a 15-minute phone call meeting, I'd guess at least 50% of people that you contact would be willing to meet you and talk to you about whatever you've got. And a lot of times when I do that, people quickly find out like, oh, that was an interesting or worthwhile conversation. I'd like to continue that, right? Right. So now we'll schedule an hour for later on, now that we've gotten a feel for who we're talking to and how we can help each other, right? Because we've got so many things going on. Each of us is an entrepreneur in our own sense, right? No one would have a disadvantage from having more clients and more leads. And one of my favorite quotes is that there's no business problem that can't be solved with more leads. And I think that more leads could be had with strategic networking and obviously with client retention. So with that, Eric, I appreciate your time. Thanks for letting us jump in and share some of our strategic networking hacks. This is an easy way to get a hold of us. And if there's no further questions, I'll pass this back to Gilman and have him dish out a knife for us.
I'm gonna have you do the pick. Pick a number one.
Oh, finish.
Yes, I'm here. I just went back to the screen.
Perfect. All right, I'm gonna have Barbara pick the number for me, 1 through